Well, hello everybody. In today's video, we will be building out a brand new historical city set upon a massive hill foundation, building out a huge agricultural area spanning into one of the larger farms I've ever made in just a massive build. Let's get to it. So the people may be running around here in the nude. The good thing is what they've done is they made it a lot easier to get your approval rating up and keep families coming in. All you realistically need to do is build homes and stuff like that. And we hit the mother lode. We have wild animals, and we have rich berries, and we have rich farmland. Now you can see this is a different kind of map. This is a map up on a hill. This is really cool, actually. The only issue I see is not a lot of wood. Not a lot of wood. So I'm going to try to build as historical as possible. We have all of our food located exactly right here, so we just won't touch this area with any of our forestry. We have this area down here, I'm going to say for firewood, and this area over here for logging. But this is a bit scary, potentially even this area down here for logging. It is a bit scary because we just do not have a lot of resources. So what I would like to do is try to figure out how I want to plan my city. Now we're going to be using the historical Burgage plots, and I'm going to do a better job of fruits. So we'll get into all that in a second here. Let's just start plotting out our first areas. So the berries are actually right here. And what we want to do is to make sure that we do not cut off any of the berry bushes. I'm actually going to get the forager hut up first, which is a little different from how I normally do things. But I do want to get food. We're going to put up a road right there. All right, we did not cut off any of the berry bushes. We have eight bushes. It's exactly a rich deposit. And we have all this space available to us. And we're going to naturally just go with the terrain and go in like that. Okay, so we have this big area right here. And this to me screams, let's do some housing here. We don't want to, I don't think we want to do much here. I mean, this is honestly the best place to build, right? And all this awesome wood is here. I mean, I could take the forestry down. That would probably be the smartest way to do things. But I would like to get as much of this wood as possible here. Now, one thing about spamming the logging camps now is they do require tools. So it's not as easy as it used to be. So let's get up just a couple of things first. I'm going to leave them with no homes. We're going to have a bit of a slow start, but that's okay. We're going to speed this up a tad bit. I'm going to come over here where the logs are, get a hitching post up. We're going to order ourselves another ox. Now it's going to take them a bit because they got to drag the logs all the way down here, but that's okay. Now we need to be really careful about our placements next to the animal sanctuary. What I like to do is just circle it with a road. This just makes sure that people walk around it instead of through it. They're pretty good about following traffic laws. We'll just do it like that. It also helps us to kind of visually inspect where we're going to do things. So right off the bat, we have everything pretty much perfect. And if you look at this, you can see that the granary location would do beautifully right here for both the berries and wild animals. That's a good spot for it. And we have this whole back area here where we could probably do some farming if we want to take a gander. So let's look at barley fertility. Barley fertility is really good, of course, right where I want to build everything. But this whole back area, it's pretty green. It's got a bad spot there. This is good. If we come down here, it's even worse. So realistically, we should probably save this whole upper area here, like all of it, in fact, for farming. So we're going to keep all of this for farming right here. And I'm not exactly sure if we're going to do our little small plots. But then all around it, off to the sides right here, I'm thinking we do historical agricultural plots. And then down here, we do the bulk of the city. And then that way we have a pretty good area for everything that we need. So let's just look, yeah, barley fertility all the way up here. So I can tell you right now, this is going to be the cutoff for all the farming. So all of our buildings all of our housing is going to go right here where this forest is. It's the best place for it. Okay, unpause the game. And as soon as I get someone in the forager, we're going to start gathering food. Let's get one individual in there. We're going to get up the logging camp, and the hitching post is already up. Oh yeah, look at them go. Alright, let's get 3 families right off the bat. And we want to go to our advanced tab. And what I'm going to start doing is clear cutting the forest here. I want to get as much out of this forest as possible. And over here, we're going to do our historical burgage plots. Now, I plan on having a granary right here. And I may have 1 or 2 granaries. What we want to make sure is that we're not at risk. Okay, so we have what could only be described as a very small space to do things in. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 144. So what I did is I created a lip for multiple granaries here. And what we're going to do is just have probably at least 2 granaries fully stacked. Everything. We're going to have agriculture. We're going to have all of our food production right here. And we'll probably have another granary over here because we'll have eggs and things like that. So what I would like to do over here, like I said, is potentially turn this into, well, we could put the woodcutter down here, and we could put the industry down here. So industry down here wouldn't be a bad idea. But we're going to take a peek. We got 5 timber. So what I'd like to do is start getting up all the historical burgage plots. Okay. It looks like we have a little bit of barley on this side, a little bit of green here. I think we decided that we're just going to build out this way. Okay. That works for me. So what I would like to start doing is thinking about how I want to go about this. Now, logically speaking, I'm going to want 6 farming burgage plots. 3 for veggies, 3 for fruit. And I'm thinking that the apple orchards and things will go in this nook over here. So we're going to do the tried and true. This is going to be real easy. It's just 4 corpse pits. Pause the game so they don't build these out. And hunting camps. Just like so. And once you get this set up, you really only need to do it once. Now, if you watch my other videos, if you do this perfectly, you'll get one of the best edgings in the game. If it's slightly off, you won't get that really good edging. So this is 2. So we need 3 of these all together. And once you get kind of an understanding of what you're doing, you can just start to eyeball it. And like I said, this is going to create some of the most perfect you can. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because what you have here is a bend. Now, I could be rigid. I could be very rigid, but I don't want to be rigid here. I want to be cool. All right, we're just going to like half do it here. You basically just need to know where your top is. So we're going to pull it in there. And this one might be a little bit different than the other ones. That's okay. All right. So that gives us, this one's going to be just a little weird. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what I'm doing here is, these plots are exactly 1 Morgan. I said I would explain it. So for veggies, 0.25 of a Morgan per family. So you can use several tools. You can use the field tool to understand this, or you could just note that 1 corpse pit is exactly 0.25 Morgan. So this is 1.5 Morgan because we have that extra edge. So this design in total is going to be 1.3 Morgans, but that 0.3 of a Morgan is going to where the houses are. So your backyard, the area that's actually plowed and seeded, that is exactly 1 Morgan. And that's perfect for 4 families. But what we're going to do is split it and make it perfect for 2 families. Now, if you want to go to tier 3, you're going to be able to do some bigger stuff. But I'm going to venture to say we're not going to have to worry about that. Like I said, there are some things that we'll have to take into consideration because the game is not fully patched in a way that makes it easy to do certain things. So we're just going to build out a city that makes sense. But you can see here, by elongating it, we get ourselves a nice small backyard area. Sorry, I should say we get ourselves a nice housing area and the backyard is big. So this is perfect right here. And this is honestly becoming quickly one of my favorite designs, and it's historical. So I know people, they really like the historical designs, and it's like I finally found, you know, a way to do burgage plots very, very efficiently, that taps into like the exact amount that they can actually do. So you're going to get crazy yields on this, hundreds. And like this is going to easily feed the whole area. Now, taking that concept of 0.25 per family. So this is 0.2, you can see here, 0.25, 0.25. This is about perfect. I would say you can get away with double. Now, I went triple for fruit, and they did not get all the fruit. And in fact, I found it to be pretty unoptimal. I did not get enough fruit because I just made these massive plots. You gotta be pretty careful now. So, this whole back area here, in my opinion, is just ripe for some really awesome plots. So, what I'm thinking we're gonna do is just take what we have here, see how elongated it is, and try to be smart about this. Now, what I would probably venture to say is, if we split this just right, we can get what I'm going to call, instead of going, yeah, here we go. So instead of doing two with the hunters, we're going to go 3. Now, the reason I do 2 in the hunter is because it gets me one of the best backyards for veggies. Apples are different. Apples don't have a backyard drop-off point. So you can do something different like this. So we're going to eyeball this, right? I said I was going to make it look historical. I want these to be about 3 and 3 on each side. And you can see, I can just eyeball it, that we're quasi there. We're going to have some weirdness, you know, on the short side here. But realistically, we're golden. And the reason you want to grow all 3 types of fruit is because consumption is divided by how many food types you have now. So if you don't have a lot of meat in your diet, if you produce more veggies and fruit, they'll consume more of those things. And I have guides on my other channel. If you're really, really interested in how food mechanics works, I'm not going to go any more detail on that, just be honest. Because it's something I've explained infinite times. Just trust me, bro. This is how you want to make all 3 food types, because it will consume them all equally, and that will reduce the consumption of all other goods. So I'll just explain it to you. If you have if you have berries, you have meat, and you have carrots, right? Let's say you have chicken, berries, carrots. It's going to divide your families per month. Each one consumes 1 meat. Let's say I have 3 families. No, let's say I have 6 families, right? They'll consume 2 berries, 2 chicken, and 2 carrots, right? That's how it works. That's it. So if I also grow beetroots and cabbage, it then takes that same amount of families and divides it by 5. So then I eat 1 point, carrot, 1 point beetroot, 1 point cabbage, but I'm consuming less meat. You get it? So you will need that not for consumption mechanics, but for the market stall mechanics that give approval bonuses. So if you want to get to tier 3, you have to meet these approval bonuses. Also, if you want with a higher approval, you can tax more. All this jazz. So it's a different mechanic, and that's why you need to do it, just to keep them happy. But by increasing your food variety, you can decrease the consumption of all other goods, and it makes it really easy to hit those things. But I will say that the intent of the game is that at tier 2 you will consume 1 clothing per 6 months. This is not patched in yet, but will be. And at tier 3 you will consume 1 clothing and 1 boot every 6 months. But currently in the game, in my last playthrough, I was able to get away with having no alcohol, and I was able to get away with having no clothing, and I was sitting at about an 80% happiness. So we'll see what happens. So we're gonna get these 2 guys out. We have all of the fruit. So we have pretty much all of our food secured right here. We're gonna have our granaries all located here, which tells me that I should definitely have an interconnecting road right here and an interconnecting road right here. That way the granary workers can just easily come down this road. So this is going to be, the historical city. And we'll do some farming in here. I may or may not use plows. I'm honestly going to have so many free workers. I kind of hate the plows, because when you plow a field, only the ox can be on that farm plot. So if you go strictly all people, you can have a ton of people on a field and they get it done real quick. So if you have an insane amount of excess people, very, very viable. If you don't have an insane amount of excess people, you want to use long, stringy little plots. And we can still do that, to be honest. this does not stop us from doing stringy plots. And stringy plots might look good. So we're going to have farming. This is going to look beautiful. I'm just like straight up. This is going to look really, really good. And let's get the hunters up right on the edge here. We'll start getting that food too. But I think we're doing a great job. I'm proud of myself. Now, the main thing we need to start thinking about is where are we going to place a market? Where are we going to start getting all that up? Now, since this is all here, and I'm thinking industry will be kind of along the road with housing all throughout here. This is going to be a dense urban area. And I'm thinking what we should do. Well, first and foremost, let's get the granary up. I'm going to get the one right here first. And then the storehouse. So logging here. This all over here. I'm thinking, because we want our trade post really close to the granary. Since we're going to be selling things. This is all going to be farmland. And let's actually see what I can do. Because we do have pretty much this berry area all set up for us. That I could easily do something like this. All right, still got 144. So I actually have this whole back quadrant right here. Which would very easily be industry. And by keeping the storehouse here, I can have the trade post right here, which means that all the granaries just have to walk down the street to deliver goods, and the same with the storehouse. This is actually a beautiful location for quasi-industry, and it also allows me to place my starting artisan buildings like such. So we can just get that, and these we can eyeball. These are going to be my primary little artisan buildings, and I'm thinking we're going to intertwine the industry area into this urban area. And we are going to be using my favorite grids. Here we go. We'll get this up. But we're going to optimize all of this, and it's going to look pretty darn amazing. Let's get ourselves an expansion here. All right, so we're going to get these houses up. And then the next part that we need to do is figure out, hey, where would I like to put my market? So I'm a big fan of areas like this, because you can see right here, we have just kind of a natural pathway already. This, I think, is a wonderful location for a market stall. And potentially a well if I'm lucky. I was not lucky. I was very much not lucky. Okay. Well, we have this area here. I'm going to put a well in the back over here. And we'll put a well... Oh man, can we get a well back anywhere here? Okay. I want to put a well right here. But for market stalls, I think we're going to need quite a bit. So let's go 44. But I want to do this a little differently. I think 39 is actually way more than enough. Okay. Yeah, we're going to build it out like that. Alright, that should be good. And then from there, we can connect all the points. Have little pathways. And where it makes sense, I can place these guys. I'm hoping we get more decorations at some point in the future. And what I like to do is, I like grids, but I do like to add flaws to the grids, right? Like, just make the roads a little, you know, like a little lopsided. It just gives it that kind of human flair. Not too much, but, you know, make it look like they were drunk when they did it. And it looks very human. We'll expand this Burgage plot over here, but we got them building up quite a bit. So I do need to get a family into the storehouse now. We're going to boot this down to one person in the logging camp. And we're going to up the priority on the granary. And let's let them build out some of these things. We got a lot to do. Yeah, we definitely need to get the firewood up too. So we got our gent in the storehouse. I'm just trying to get things off the ground. So our woodcutter, there are a lot of good places for a woodcutter in this design. Eventually we're going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff. I think the woodcut, so this is the problem, is, you know, we need to maintain future order. We need to prepare for the future. And I think down here, right here in this corner, makes a whole lot of sense. It's going to be a little weird. They have to travel a bit of a distance, but it's not too bad. And you do have some wiggle room in this game. You do have a little bit. We're also going to get ourselves probably another ox, since we are having to travel pretty vast distances. order one more. That will really help speed things up for us. And let's highly prioritize the construction of that hitching post. But like I said, I'm not really in any rush to get max families and do all that kind of jazz. I'm building out what is going to be a really cool town on the hill. This is actually going to be pretty awesome to behold. There will be so many chickens and so many pigs. Maybe not too many chickens. Probably mostly pigs. And we'll see. We'll see what makes sense. Alright, we're going to put one person into the granary. I'll hold tab real quick and just see where I have people allocated. Alright, we got one free person. Now we need to pick our point. And I've been over this. People have been asking, so I'm just gonna say it one more time. That the small holding is not very good. It gives you a 20% increase to whatever you're producing. Even if you were to say, okay, well, I could do that in the veggies or apples. When you make someone a small holding, they're dedicated to that craft. It just really is not a good return. It needs to be like twice. It needs to be ×2. If it were ×2, then I would say, okay. But with that said, increased approval from food variety plus 10%. That is actually really good. And the increase in tree planting, also very, very good. But tithe approval malice, I don't use tithes that much. That's to gain influence points to take regions. So if they up that to like, you know, 50%, let's say 50%, then it'd be worth it. 20% is just too small. And that's 20% of like, so you make 2 pork every 56 days from pigs. So let's just say 1 meat per burgage plot per month for pig. You get 20%. So you get 1.2 pig, okay? That's not doing much for you. Off the Vochtland is amazing. This is the one we're probably going to go for here because all minor trade routes increase by 50%. Also, you get the hunting hounds. So if you have game, like, and they bring in small game every 7 days. So that's 4 meat a month. And that's not bad. I mean, it's not great. That's like, it's like having it's like having 4 pig pens, basically. And then increase capacity for forage goods. Doubles the capacity of my wild berries, which are rich. Decrease agricultural efficiency 25%. So this is what the trade-off. So it's like, do I want massive trade values with decreased agriculture? And this is the problem because we're sitting on the best agricultural land that there is. So we could offset that negative 25% with honey, that it's only negative 15% yield on our crops. And we could just make our crops 15% bigger to account for that loss in order to yield 50% export values. So even with the rich agriculture that I have, I would still argue it could be worth it. And then, of course, this one, increase regional wealth. You get +1 wealth per burgage plot. Wealth is generated by burgage plot. It's no longer generated by family. So the argument for single plots is definitely there. The disadvantage to single plots is you use more market stalls and you use more fuel. But you also get the reduced burgage plot upgrade costs and salt and iron import value reduction by 30%, which is pretty darn substantial, but land tax approval malice. Now, a lot of these other ones, you know, increase blacksmith efficiency, increase weapon export value of 20%. So you could go this route, but right now mines are bugged, and they're going to fix that too. The yields on mines are very, very low, so I won't even be using my mines because of that. Born in the Alps, clothing durability increased 50%. This would be amazing once they actually fix all that. Sheep are more resilient at high elevations during winter months. They no longer die. So we are potentially at the high elevation here. There's actually a way to check, and I don't know what it is. I've heard people talking about it. Nuremberg prospects improve armories, improve mine integrity, reduces the amount of collapses, mining import discounts, increase the treasury cost for retinue, which isn't a big deal because once you unlock it, you unlock it. This is efficient farming. Efficiency when farming on elevations 20%. Cheaper animal imports, mining speed increase. I don't really like this one at all. So, as I said, I do believe one of my favorite ones now is of the Vochtland. Even though it's going to screw my agriculture, we're going to offset it with honey. And we're going to get all these massive bonuses. Primarily trade. So we're going to do that. It's become my new favorite. So we just double that. Now we have 288. Now, I mean, we're going to make bank. and we have to purchase the dug, but it will give us a good source of extra meat. Now we do have our first individual at 10, so let's wait until we get a full band together and go and attack that bandit camp. But we got our market stall area up. We're getting these areas up. So let's continue to try and get out all of this as possible, but we're going to need a lot of money. There we go. Each one of these is 0.5. Ba-boom. This one's going to be bigger. We'll probably grow carrots here. I think we're actually... Yeah, that actually turned out to be really, really good. And that should work out just fine. Might be a little bit bigger than they can handle, but that's all right. We may do another set just for more carrots. And by may, I mean we are absolutely going to do another set for carrots, but let's make sure that this is the proper width. Oh, wait, we put the woodcutter's lodge here. I'm wondering if there's a better way to do this. All right, let's just, let's take a break from the crazy. Let's see what I can do with this. This becomes the problem, is where it says it's too steep to build. So we're going to have to be a little different. There we go, not enough goods. Sometimes you just got to go the other way. So you can see here we can get some pretty crazy farms. We're going to do that. And those are going to be veggies. And what's great is they're right here next to the granary. And so we will be selling a lot of this. We're beautiful now. Okay. One and everything. We're attracting families. We're attracting people. We got the woodcutter lodge. Let's put this in. We're going to go to the advanced tab. So now I have this whole back area over here for firewood. That's great. We're definitely going to need it. It's a little bit of a jaunt, but you can see they can walk down the road. Might just need a few more workers than we normally would, but it will all pan out. And now no one will freeze to death. But we need to get people in here. We need to get some money, and we need to start growing things. Okay, things are back on track. We got it going on. We need to start looking at getting a church and water access, all that good stuff. So the church is going to require that we get some boards. So let us get up a saw pit. The saw pit can go literally right next to this storehouse here. Let us also get the trade post up. All right. Trade post is going to go right next to everything right here. Let's just get that building down. Oh, right. We are... Okay, the families are moving in real quick. We're going to be right where we need to be here pretty soon. Got ourselves up to a 61% approval rating. Got ourselves a saw pit. So let's go to the advanced tab. Set a timber reserve of 10 and a plank production limit of 30. I am going to boot up the families to... I would like to do more. We'll just do that for now because I do believe I need to come out here and start expanding these houses. There we go. More families moving in here. Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, this is going to be great. Once we get the scenic view on this, holy cow. We're definitely at a higher terrain. And we could have some sheep die off. That's okay. I think we're going to try to put our sheep... Like, we're going to try not to do linen. I'm going to do just wool. I'm just going to do barley and wheat. And we're going to have a fallow year. And we'll have our sheep go there to increase fertility. Just to see how it all works. And that way I don't have to have a bunch of weird sheep pens. Since I'm going to have all this farmland that they could be on. And that's honestly probably how it was meant to be anyway. So sometimes it's good to do things properly. Alright, we have... the boards needed to upgrade this. And let's get the church up. We can. And I'm thinking the church can go in right back here. Along with the tavern. So let's place the church. I'm going to give it a little bit of room. Place the church right here. You know me. I like to use the one decoration I have in the game. Go. Right, and then the tavern can go right there. We're going to use a corpse pit. Just to size up the tavern area. You can see the corpse pit's a little bit bigger than the tavern. And we're also going to want, in my opinion, to get the malt house ready to go. Alright, and we don't have enough goods. I think that this will be more than enough room. There we go. Okay. So now we have ourselves a nice little area. Eventually I'll connect this. I may even place a granary right here to help out. Or may even place a granary in the middle of all of this. We definitely need to get rid of this corpse pit. But there we go. Nice little industry area. Nice little farming community out here. And we got our 20. So we're going to go kill us some banditos. And we won't lose a single person because we're going to do this proper this time. So we got one bandito over there. And one down there in the corner. And we do not want to run. Too late. They already ran. Alright, we're making good progress. We got the church up. That's going to help us a lot with our approval rating. Also get us to the point where we can start thinking about upgrading. So we need meat, fishes, animal produce. Pause real quick. Put one individual into the hunting camp. Okay. We're going to start pulling in all the things we need to upgrade. So what we want to do is actually go into stand your ground. Make sure that they are at full stamina. And just slowly start approaching. This is a cool little spot up here. This is really neat, actually. There are a lot of really... They started to actually think about what the maps should be like. So the reason we're in stand your ground is to absorb charge damage. Once you absorb, you want to push forward. Shield wall... Like, I thought it would do better, but I was losing more people. It gives block value of immediate adjacent allies is added to each soldier's own block value. Slows it down a lot. But I found we had some issues with it. But I'm going back to the old school rules. Absorb the charge. Stand your ground and then just start punching them in the face. This tends to work the best. So we're just going to speed this up real quick. There we go. Alright, as promised, not a single person died except for them. And let's go over and get this bandit camp. Alright, we're going to bring it to the town. I'm actually going to send these guys back. Disband them and then get them back up again. And then send them out. I found that they have residual damage. So you will lose one person if you attack after attacking another some of the time. So we're just going to go back, make sure that we don't die. Alright, let's double that one up. Double that one up. And once we get a little bit of meat, we're going to be in good shape. I'd like to get a dog. Yeah, let's get the dog. Got a little bit of money. Alright, so now it's money time. So we're going to do this the easy way. I want to produce more veggies, more carrots, I should say, than anything else in the world right now. And so you can see we got a big chunk cut out. And that's what I was talking about. Is if you do it perfect, it reduces the chunk cut out by a lot. These ones are actually not that great. Yeah, these are awful. Okay, well, you know what? You win some, you lose some. It's still a really good plot. It does a great job. We'll get these up, and then we'll start getting our areas out. Then we got to get the apples and pears and things like that going over here. Then we'll have all the farmland in between. This whole area is just going to be massive agriculture. Okay, we're going to disband. Okay, and then I'm going to re-rally. Tell them not to run. And we're going to head all the way over here. Holy cow. This is a cool place too over here. We're going to head all the way over here. Try to get some money for the coffers in case we need mercenaries. Right, Burgage plot right here can upgrade. This will be a boyer. We have 6 free families, so... Oh my god. And we got lots of money. So I already decided that this is going to be carrots. That was a lot of money, though. That was 41, right? So over here, this will be cabbage. And over here, be beetroots. And I have 261 left. We really should try, because we are going to be selling apples. We really should be trying to get some of this stuff up. Now, each one of these is going to be 2 corpse pits. Well, basically 1.5 corpse pits. And I think that this is the maximum that 2 families could arguably do. I made some really impressive plots, and they failed spectacularly because I think that they just changed some things, to be honest. So I'm going for 6 corpse pits like such. Not enough goods. And these are perfect. This is like a lot of area. So I'll build those up. We'll try to get some more wood. And we're doing a good job of cleaning out all the wood here. Saving my money so I can afford to get these guys up. I want to get all of these guys up first. Now let's come down here and see where we're at. We are approaching now. So let's go make some more money. A part of me wants actually to throw all this into the town. We did probably get up our first Burgage plot level 2. And we're going to go straight into a bowyer's workshop. Yeah, I mean, if I were... I think the smart play here is to get up all of our trade and risk it. We're going to get attacked, but I think we'll definitely have the people and the army to defend ourselves. And we're going to get hit. Here's the problem. We're going to get hit going uphill. That's a bad spot. This is probably the coolest, one of the cooler places, but you're going to have a lot of sheep die off. And that's going to be a problem. Okay, here they come. Well, we'll try to do the best we can. Why is their effectiveness 51%? Okay, 116% effectiveness. They're going to come in. They're going to slap us. Oh, that's cool. The dog. So the dog follows around this hound. He follows around the worker at the hunting camp. So he's actually following us into battle. I don't think he's going to help out, but that's really funny. He's following the person who works at the hunting camp. But we'll find out. Let them charge in. Whack us. All right. Yeah, he's just chilling. Dog's chilling back there. He's going to go find some food. Okay. We're going to speed this up. I find the bandit fights to be pretty boring, and we still lost somebody. I blame everyone but myself. And we're going to come over here and take this money. And then get back to base and start building. Okay. That should give us enough money for everything. Those 2 bandit camps. So let's get everyone back. Let's get out the orchards. And yeah, we're gonna get up 2 of them over here. Yeah, it's about 6 corpse pits right here. This should do it. Still have enough goods. Okay. Let's put a full stack to the logging camp. Let's get ourselves another ox and upgrade this small stables. We should start collecting all the stone that's over here. It's only 117, but we need to update a lot of stuff. So let's do that right now. Right, veggies over here. These guys actually, if you can get it wide enough, you lose less. And the reason you want to do this is because this is the drop-off point. So when they gather, they walk back and forth to the nearest points. The closer you can get this, less amount of walking, more efficiency. That's the principle. But you don't want really, really long plots, but you can get away, with like some length, and you'll be okay. And that's how they were, you know, historically. That's what people like. All right, so we're gonna grow apples here. They'll only have 1 timber. And over at our bowyer shop, I forgot to put this on. We want to set this to a cap of 30 archers. Disband our men. Hire some archers. And we can see we have a lot of individuals who are ready to go. But we're missing out some information. We need to get more wood. I'm going to get another woodcutter over here. Logging camp. And we're going to go ham. We're just going to go all in. Probably get a few more ox. Alright, let's get 1 person in the stone gather. Get the stone. We want to upgrade our granary as soon as possible. Holy cow, look how many berries we have. 194. Probably start trading berries. I'm going to start trading anything over 100 berries. So they sell for 2 instead of 1 because I got the perk, which is powerful. We're going to get ourselves a horse over here. And I'm going to hire 1 person in the trade post just for the time being. Alright, we got our 10. So let's start getting up our orchards. Alright. We're going to get up 2 big plots. And this is about as big as I want to get these guys. So that's going to make all... This is going to make all the same different food types. And then over here, I think we're going to try something a little cool. Go sideways over here. Give it a little variety, right? And we're going to do... This is actually kind of crazy. This is like one of the worst backyards I've ever seen. Wow. That was bad. Let's try it from this way. Okay, this is much better. We're just going to do 2, and then we're going to be apples. And we're going to sell apples. Apples are going to make a fortune. Carrots are going to make a fortune. We're going to make a fortune. And that's going to be all she wrote for that. That's going to be a lot of agriculture right there. Yeah, we're clearing through this. Okay. So let's go to the advanced tab. Let's just tell them to straight up destroy this wilderness. We got all this down here, so we'll be okay. And we're going to go up to 3 people here. This is great. And we're just going to continue to expand and add. We are definitely going to need to put 2 people into the storehouse, upgrade. Definitely gonna need to put 2 people in here, upgrade as soon as we get more planks. Definitely need a little bit more food variety. For the animals, we do have quite a bit going on over here. We're hunting down to 12. There's 16. So they changed the way that animals spawn, so the more of them, the faster they spawn. We're going to go down to 9 on 16, so we're going to try 50%. That should do a good job right there. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have a whole lot of animals, so the dogs are going to help out here. We'll probably get pigs and stuff like that, though. Alright, look at that, 21 archers already. Okay, and we're going to grow carrots on these Burgage plots. We're going to sell them. Dude, that's freaking crazy. We're going to be broke in no time. So let's get these orchards up. Expand. We're going to have a lot of families here. Oh man, this is great. It's already coming along really nicely. Okay, I think we're going to move the logging camps, actually, to their forever homes down here, so that I can continue to expand. We'll set the radius for them to go above. I'm going to leave the stables right here, and we'll just make some more. I think it's good to have stables kind of scattered around. There we go. We'll just place around 3 of them down here. We're going to get hit in 365 days. Not too worried about that. And so with our perk, I mean, we just get crazy rates. So minor trade routes all get 50%. So the pelts we're getting, all you can do with them is trade them. So we're getting 3 per. So we don't need to keep them for anything. Wool even sells for a lot. You know, everything sells for a lot. Rye grain. But primarily what we're going to be doing is selling rye bread. If we can, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be selling rye bread. Carrots, we're going to be selling carrots. Anything over 125 carrots. Ah, this is good. Carp is a good one. Quincy's kind of suck. Some of the other stuff that I don't have benefits for still sell for a lot, like apples. Pears sell for a bit. And cabbage sells for a bit. If I have extra, I'll sell it. But even this stuff, like raw clay, sells for 6. Because you imagine if I had a rich clay vein here, or iron sells for 2, clay sells for a fortune, which is kind of silly. Even firewood sells for 2 instead of 1. Charcoal sells for a lot. Charcoal is probably something we should get into here. And we're growing really fast. You can see we have 12 free families. We're growing our military. So we're going to do pears, expand. We're going to do quincies, expand. And we're going to do apples, expand it, because we're selling apples. So I want to produce a ton of them. And we need 108. So we'll have to come back for that last apple. Okay. And we need to get up these guys too. So we already have carrots growing on those gents. So let's go with the secondaries here. Oh, we had more than enough. Okay. So we have all those going. You can see it's a lot. They have to replow every year now, or they didn't before. So you can't get away with what you used to. And once they move all this wood, we'll be in good shape. So we're going to do this. I'm going to keep this area here for more industry. And I'm thinking what we're going to do, just get a long line of houses right behind the church and the tavern. We're going to have it just like that. Okay. But let's get our roads down. Like I said, I like to kind of give it a weird angle just to make it look a little more human. It looks a little weird when it's like perfectly straight, but when you just give it a little bit of an edge like that, I find it looks really cool. It's a very simple thing, but it adds a little bit of zazz. Here we go. Boom. So we'll get all these houses up. And the corpse pit is the perfect length for double burgage plots. These are a little bit longer, as you can see. So I'm just trying to get, I want to get these back to back. This. Get rid of the corpse pit. And we'll put this bad boy up. Boom, boom. And then there you go. Too steep to build, of course. Well, this will be interesting. So unfortunately, I can't do it that way. We'll probably have to go sideways. And that's kind of cool. It's going to going to force me into building in a different way. But we'll get those houses to start getting more soldiers in here, start upgrading to tier 2 and everything we possibly can for passive wealth generation. Also to increase the pantry size so we can store more product. Alright, let's get this granary up as soon as I get a little bit more wood. Alright, so these gents over here need to bump up to... Yeah, all our families are gone. I'm actually just going to do this so I don't have to think about it. But for this guy, we're going to hyper focus this area because we are going to start bulldozing. Alright, look at that. Ton of houses. So at this point, we need to just let things grow out, expand the economy. So you can see, oh, this is pretty cool. You can see we're getting a really good yield. Holy cow, this is cool. This is really cool looking. Yeah, I like it. I mean, we could grow the quincies. They just suck. I'm not growing them. But this is great. And yeah, we're getting that negative 25 yield. But you know what we're going to do is build out apiaries. They're a little pricey, but 5 of them will get us that 10%. Yeah, we're going to have to get some more money before I decide to do that. I think we're going to get another archer up because we are going to start getting more families moving in. Let's make sure we get this granary to 3 people upgraded. Get the large storehouse to 3 people in the market. All right, we're in good shape. We're going to have the berries. We're going to have these other food types coming in. Things are going to be great. Got lots of wood coming in. And we do need to get a few more ox and upgrade these if we can, which we will. Beautiful. Yeah, this is coming together really well. I think it's going to look awesome when it's completed. Okay, so we got ourselves our nice little boyard. I'm thinking we need to start thinking about maybe getting some of these other shops up, but these are Burgage plots level 1. So we need to get these level 2. So meat, fishes, animals. And we don't have a whole lot of animals, but I think we're doing the best we can. The dogs are definitely helping out. Potentially what I should be doing is getting some pigs to make this a little bit easier on us. So we're going to do this whole backyard as potentially pigs. And I do want to do 5 apiaries to get that 10% yield increase. So this is going to be rather expensive. So let's start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll start from here and go all the way to the side. This will just help me visually inspect. Alright, we do not have the boards necessary, but that's alright. We're building up a lot of stuff. And yeah, the backyard burgages, they look like someone's failed art project. It's kind of weird. I know they updated some things, but I don't know how I feel about that. We're making really good progress, though. I do definitely like the gentle slopage. And I think now is actually a good time to start getting all the farms out. So this is going to be kind of a, you know, a long process, so I'll show you just parts of it. But essentially the concept that I'm using is we're going to keep our burgage plot, sorry, not burgage plots, our farming plots to about 0.5 of a Morgan. This will make it easier for them to be plowed, and I think we do want plows. So 0.6 is great. Anywhere between 0.5 to 0.6 is beautiful. And you want to keep these as straight as possible for optimal plowing by your ox. And I definitely think we want to use it. It's just a huge time saver. So it's looking like 0.6 is kind of where we're getting most of our gents. Now this part right here, we could probably get ourselves another 0.4 out of it. But this is generally the idea that I had in my big brain, is I'm just going to make as many of these as possible. And then we'll have ourselves just a bounty of bread, rye bread that we can sell. And also we want to get alcohol production going. And some of them, you know, won't be perfect. Some of them will be 0.7 just because it can get a little annoying trying to get all this to work. And then you have areas like this. And ox don't typically do too well with these. They take a long time. But this is a perfect 0.6. And we're just going to roll with the punches there. But you can see right there we have ourselves a nice little farming area. We have a couple spots right here where I think we're going to be placing the farm buildings themselves. So farmhouse here. This would have been nice for a farmhouse, but it's unfortunately too darn small. And we're going to want to think about this. So we have a cool road system. Got a cool little lip going on. And we want to have definitely more farms. I'm going to say somewhere around potentially 4 or 5. So what I'm going to do is place the farmhouses right here in this little row. And we're actually going to have a road behind all this to make it easier for our farms to connect. And I'm going to take this back road because I think that this will make it easier for us to connect our farm plots in a meaningful way. And we're going to extend this out and then loop it in like that. Okay. And that gives us this whole back area now that we can start getting our farm plots. And we're going to change the direction. I think the ox are smart enough to understand, long ways. So we're going to change the direction a little bit. And this first one is going to be a little off. It's going to be a little funky just simply because of the well being there. This one's going to be 0.8 Morgans. I'm cool with that. And so these plots are more likely to be in the 0.6 to 0.7 range. And we can see the barley fertility throughout this region is very decent. Now, I'm going to have a pretty impressive agricultural sector because I want to see how many people I can get into this build. We do have a hitching post in the mix here. We want to be really careful we don't throw that in the wrong spot. So we're going to put it... let's put it down here. Good spot for it. And we're going to continue to make our narrow strips. Again, the reason for this is only one plow can be on a field at a time. If you make them too big, by the time the ox finishes plowing, you then can start your seeding. So by doing this way, one field is plowed, the team is coming behind them and seeding. Otherwise, it's a mess and you just don't get what you want. That's the rationale behind using smaller fields. There's another rationale is that there are some glitches when you go over 1 Morgan. I wouldn't rely upon that theory. I would just rely upon the knowledge that it's easier for the ox to plow these long, stringy fields. Now what we have here is an area that is a little interesting, right? So what I would like to do is actually divide it in half. We're going to do this. And more importantly, I would like to get probably 3 more farmhouses. Now, I realize this seems rather excessive, and it isn't, because we only have 2 plows per farmhouse, and I want a pretty large amount of these. Okay, we got all the stone here. So this is already looking, pretty darn good. We're gonna have a ton of granaries. We got a lot of space. We're gonna order an ox and upgrade this hitching post. We have buildings that require maintenance, so this is going to become a problem. We're going to need to import iron. I'm not going to currently mine iron because you only get 2 to 4 a month until they hotfix it. It's bugged out right now, so it's just not really worth it to me. And we're bringing in what I can only presume is an absurd amount of wood. With the 3 gents that we have 6 families just going to town. Let's just continue to trace out our beautiful shapes. At almost 0.9. Alright, I'm actually going to remove the road that was back here. I don't find it necessary anymore. I am going to place a road like such, though. Just to have a little bit of division. And I'm going to bring that around the back side of all of these farms right here. That way there is just a bit of pathing. Over here, thinking I'm going to do this too. I like to kind of mold my roads together. This looks weird. So what we're going to do is redo the road. There we go. Just like that. And so there's still a lot of room for the housing. And let's order these pigs as soon as I can get some more money. The trader is available in 20 days. So it's as if I have to wait for the ox. Weird. Okay. Well, if we have money, we should get up our apiaries. I don't find the honey production to be all that amazing. They will eat it. Later on, the icons in the game will be able to make mead with honey, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, we're doing an okay job on everything. We just need to continue getting up our farm plots. And if you don't want to use ox, you can just make these things super big. But in my opinion, when you go into really large agricultural farming, you definitely want to use the ox. And some of these guys are going to be a little bit bigger simply because I just feel like it. Okay, so now we have a massive agricultural area. It looks pretty cool. It dips, goes with the terrain. And I'm going to do rotations. I just need to count everything. So I'm just going to give you a breakdown of what I'm going to do. We need to construct fences on all of these so that we can start getting sheep in. I'm going to get sheep coming in here pretty soon, so we can start on that. And I'm going to use a fallow year so that they have somewhere to go. But in general, we do need to locate these buildings. Let's see what we can do with some of this. Nice, we can put our sheep farm right here. And we need a little bit of pasture space while we get this going. So this right here is enough for 22, which is pretty crazy. So let's try doing this proper. 22. All right, we'll do 20 here. And then we'll do 19 here. So that's 40 that can go right here in the back. That looks pretty cool, actually. That turned out pretty neat. And then the rest of it will be in the fields. So there is our sheep. So we are going to need a sheep trader. A livestock trading post. And I'm going to get that up. Oh, I can get it up right here for now. And the sooner I can get a couple of sheep, the better. They will start multiplying, replicating. I am on a high terrain, so this is not very good for us. They have a higher die chance, I believe, but we'll play it by ear and just see what happens, right? So let's get ourselves a piggy. Yeah, for some reason I wasn't able to order pigs. I think it was locked into the ox thing. So it was weird. I don't believe that's intended because it doesn't make any sense. But we'll continue. We got 2 more honeys to go. We're a little broke. We are starting to finally get some trade. Eventually here I'm going to get so many carrots that I don't know what to do with all of them. Actually, we're already at that phase. So let's go to the trading post here. Let's put another family in there. Let's come down to carrots. This is probably going to be... I'm going to put this down to 120. Potentially going to be one of my first trade routes, but they'll just need a little bit more excess. For the berries, I'm going to place 2 families in here because we do have quite a bit going on. I'm going to place a 4th person in the granary. And the storehouse, I'm going to put a 4th family just to make sure things are moving. I don't need it at all. I'm just, you know, allocating families that are just sitting around doing nothing. And now that we're constructing these fields, I think we're in a good spot. I'm going to start from this direction. But, so what I typically like to do is make sure that certain sections are active and others aren't. I'm thinking that these 2 sections here and these 2 sections here should never... I shouldn't have this field going while this field over here is going. Like, so we're going to just do 2 crops. You can do 3. You can do, as long as they're different crops. And we're going to do rye, not because it's better than wheat. Rye is actually having a lower yield. I'm just going to do rye because that's what I like to grow for food. You can sell rye bread. And that we get double money from the rye bread. We get 5 per rye. And wheat bread is down here. So that's why I'm growing rye. So we're just going to do rye and barley for the top here. And then the bottom down here, we're going to alternate. It's going to be barley and rye. That way rye and barley are being grown in the same year. This is really, really, really easy to do. But this is another reason why people don't like to do this. Because, I mean, it's tedious. Being able to mass select fields if they want us to use this historic, you know, system of how things were actually done in strips like this. This is actually the historical way things were done because the ox did go in straight lines. It's actually, the game encourages you to actually do the historic version of this. But it's also slightly discouraged because you have to do this. Okay. So the 3rd year is fallow. This whole area is going to be fallow. So this is where it gets tricky. What I'm thinking I'm going to do, because we have 4 fields, I need to divide these into 3 sections, right? This one's a little smaller. So this is a proper 3rd section. So this one is going to be a little weird. What we're going to do is just go all in on rye in the third, since nothing grows in the third year. And then on the other plot point over here, we're going to do barley. So we're actually going to have potentially, sorry, 2 years that it can be fallowed. So let's just make sure I'm not getting, you can get kind of tunnel vision doing this. We're just going to do rye all the way on the third. So these ones are going to be a little different. They're going to be slightly wasted in some ways. But this will also reduce the amount of families we need. Because every year they'll be, for years 1 and 2 they'll be here. And years 3 they'll be over here. And I got tunnel vision again. Okay, there we go. I cleaned those up. It's so annoying that you have to click this over and over. Alright, so all these up here are rye. And then all of these in the third year are going to be barley. This is like the easiest way for myself that I could think to do this. I don't want the families to be all over these fields. I want them to be really focused. This is probably more than I even need. So it's already a lot. Alright, we're about half a year from being attacked. We have all our fields ready for when I have a bunch of farmers. We have this area, so we're preemptively just going to get plowing stations over here. What this also means, too, is I'm going to need a lot of ox. So we have multiple things that I am preparing myself for. Over in the sheep farm, we're going to get multiple people. Now, you are going to want multiple sheep farm workers to get all the wool, and the wool is what we're going to use to make clothing. We got our livestock trader down here. So we're going to import 10 sheep and just let them start replicating. We have a bunch of full pantries. So you can see the granary workers are quite busy. We may even just have to have a granary that just goes around literally just collecting goods. But let's make sure that we have ox for all. Alright, so we got 7. And this back area here, honestly, where all these farms are, along this road, I'm feeling like this is where we're going to do just a ton of ox. Gotta be real careful. 288 still. Okay, we're good. I'm like, oh yeah, gotta watch out. So we'll have a bunch of stables here for all the ox carts. And the circle is there. And we don't want to get too close because we can spook the animals. But I'll try to get a few more ox in here. Oh, this is cool. That's perfect. That's just too close. I don't even want to chance it. But that should be more than enough for this area. So let's just continue to use our monies to import there. The boyer is doing a great job. These gents over here are going to be converted to weavers and things of that nature. We have some more houses. We should definitely get more artisan houses here for the workshop area. So let's see. Can I get... It really just wants to do 2 of them. That's okay. We'll just do the 2 right there. And yeah, when we go into farming, we're going to have to go hard. I have 26 fields. About 24, 23 fields over here. So I'm going to need probably not as many families as you think. Maybe only, realistically, because of the way that I've done this, 12. So we're probably just going to do 2 families per. And see if we need any more after that. And that's not bad. Probably like 12 to 14 families should be able to do all this. And it's going to be huge. Now we're also going to need a spot for the windmill, which I'm thinking placing right here. Along with most likely a bread-based granary. So let's actually get this up right now. I'm going to turn off Snap to Road Tool because it's driving me nuts. We're going to place a granary right here for bread. I'm going to place 2 houses with backyard extensions that are going to be completely dedicated to bread making. There we go, right here. And we should actually be fine with just a single windmill. I'm going to place right here. We'll take this road. We'll just curve it ever so slightly. Connect it like such. There we go. Looking good. And that will give us that industrial area, but you can see all roads lead all the roads lead to the granaries around here. So this is good. Yeah, the central bread granary, I think you'll have access to all the farmland. This farm over here is just a sheep farm. And this farmhouse over here, we may actually just leave that empty. It may be wise just to use a central location like what we have. But if we need that extra farmhouse, it is there. That's the cool thing. Alright, so we're full up on lumber. We're going to boot these back down to two families in total. Free up some families. This gent right here, he is... Okay, yeah, so he's focused on the main goals. This gent right here, he was focused on this area. So let's have him come over here now. We have a lot of wood. I think what we want to do at this point, because we have so much wood, is up our production limit on boards to around 200, which seems crazy, but it's not. It really isn't. I'm going to be smart, too, and use the livestock trader to import oxen so that I don't have to sit here clicking. We're going to bump that up to around 40. And I know some of you are thinking I've lost my mind. I have. Definitely have. But you need a lot in this game if you want to get really good efficiency ratios on your farming. And let's look at what else we could sell. Alright, we have a lot of carrots. Beetroot sell for 2. A lot of these things we're going to have to buy trade routes for. And once we get our first thing of apples and such in, we're going to be rich. The carrot haul should be coming in here any time now. So you can see a lot of these tier 2 homes that we need to start getting into all of our artisans to tier 2 so we can start getting shields and a blacksmith. Primarily what we're going to need is, you know, individuals in the saw pit. I'm going to put 2. We have a reduction in productivity, crafting speed negative 75% because I do not have maintenance. Now if I bump this up, I can get crazy yields. So we're not making a whole lot of boards right now until I can get some tools in. So on top of all the things we've done there, you know, the tavern's going to go here. Probably need to get a brewer. We desperately need to start getting iron production going. So I'm going to place... Let's see if I can finagle something up here in this area. So we're going to import raw iron ore. We need boards for that and a tool. Now luckily, you can import tools without having to establish a trade route. I typically like to put a minimum of 2. The main issue we're having right now is simply that I am not rich. Charcoal would probably be one of the fastest ways for us to generate some quick cash. I do know that we're selling our berries. We're selling pelts. We're generating passive revenue from our tier 2 homes, which is probably the smartest way to do things. And you can see, yes, my glorious ox are down here. Alright, I think we're doing okay though, all things considered. Just speed this up a bit, let them build out these homes. Alright, we got some money. So the first thing I want to do with this money is make sure that I'm purchasing trade routes. We are going to start getting a lot of carrots. As you can see, 203. Boom. Let's order a horse. Pump this up to 4 people. Let's start really getting that money flowing in. And now we have, I believe, the tools I need to put this up. Nope. Alright, so once we get the tools in, we can get that guy going. The smithy I can get going right now, so we should do that. Do the smithy right here. Have a road coming up. I think what we'll do is we'll have a road going this way once we get everything going. Upgrade a few of these hitching posts. Make sure we have enough room for all of our wonderful and fine ox. Alright, we're going to get the tavern up. Get this up right here. Gonna have a road going down. We're gonna have our malt house right across the street. I'll place it up like this. And we may need actually 2 houses for alcohol production. So we need to make sure that these get backyard extensions. There we go. This will be a double with backyard. And I tend to shy away from doubles for these simply because in the past there's been problems with not really getting any efficiency out of having 2 dedicated families and then 4 once you make it a tier 3. But, you know, whatever. Alright, the road was causing an issue. I'm going to delete the road real quick. I'm going to get this right. There we go. We're going to delete this whole road and redo it. And I think we will angle it like this. There we go. Delete this road and angle it. And we're just going to do a double thickness here by spamming roads just to make it look a little bit more intersection-y. There we go. Alright, so we got these plots primed. I'm going to put 2 people in here. I just want to get as big of an army as possible. We're going to be hit by raiders here in a second. Alright, the money is really starting to flow in just from selling carrots. So let's make sure we get all the apiaries up. 5 apiaries. Make sure that we got all our piggies in here. Generating meat. And I'm assuming we finally have one tool. A lot of the tools I think are being thrown into building maintenance. So we're gonna have to wait till we get enough. Honestly, at this rate, I think we should just put a minimum of 5. That way we can get a bunch of them at once and repair everything. We do have 201 planks. I'm feeling pretty confident in my plank production, so I'm gonna sell anything. And right now, I'm just trying to bring in a bunch of money. And I'm still only using 1 trade post. I haven't tested to see if they fixed the issues with having 2 trade posts and it's splitting merchants coming in and only buying fractions of goods. That's why I do this, because you're guaranteed to sell every single thing there. If I have 5 planks and I have 35 planks in the second trade post, because you can't... Basically, if I could say you could only store these goods here, I could have as many trade posts as I want. But because I can't do that, and because of the way that purchasing works, like they'll come, he'll buy the 5 planks from that one store, then he boots out. And so you can't control it. I would say maybe 2 trade posts, you know, law of averages, you're going to do well. Okay, and the banditos are here. But I have found through my studies and pretty much just through my gameplay, keeping it simple typically yields the best results for money. So... we're going to get hit by some banditos here. And I don't know which direction they're coming from. I do see that the Lord's army is out. And typically when the Lord's army is out, the bandits attack him. So I may not even have a fight. So let's get everybody... Oh, yeah. Mission complete. Okay, there they are. And so they're over here and they are running right at the Lord. We're going to prepare ourselves as if we're going to get attacked. We're making bank, and I'm pretty sure we're ordering ox in the background and all types of stuff. Okay, it looks like we are not going to have any fight, so I'm going to get these gents back to work. Beautiful. Alright, so I've done a little bit. I booted out a second area of homes. Alright, the sheep are dying from the high elevation, so I did actually change my mind to do flax a couple times out of the year. So what you're going to have to do is mix it up, okay? You're going to have a period where you're producing flax and periods where you're producing wool. Now, because of the elevation, we're having a lot of the sheep die off at a rate that, quite honestly, may not be sustainable. They're going quick. We're going to continue with it, see what we can do. We got up an enormous amount of industry, the bloomery, the smithy. We're importing iron. We got up a joiner shop, a blacksmith shop. I have now gotten multiple crossbow militia. Just a great leap forward, because this is going to be, quite honestly, a magnificent build. I got out the industry areas all around here. We got a clay furnace tile to get up here in a second. Right here. We need to start getting some clay imported. We're producing shields, small shields for trade. We're producing coal for trade. And we're just really ramping up. But I wanted to just get through some of the nitty-gritty and get to a more exciting portion of the build. We're going to import clay up to 10. Get our 4th horse. Yeah, I also made a granary that specializes only in all of the bread and all that. We have 2 bakeries making rye bread, which we're going to sell. 1 person in the windmill. And we're getting all of our farmhouses going, and we're getting ready to really start farming here. Take a peek, make sure we have enough supply. All right, let's get 6 people into stalls over here. Here we go. Now, I did move the stuff over here in case I need actually more veggies, because This is pretty substantial. I am producing what I can only quantify as a stupid amount of meat. I think we'll probably go into eggs over here in this region. I'm honestly just trying to see how big I can make it. I want to fill in this whole thing. We probably don't need to worry about going to tier 3 because it's a little just too broken at this stage. We need clothing, we need church access, and we need beverages. And I can do all of that, except for the fact that it's a little difficult to deal with some of the bugs. But we're still going to build out the city. You can get to tier 3 with a much smaller sample size than this, but it's pretty difficult. Once you hit that massive pop that we have. As you can see, we have 59 Burgage plots. Total pop at 231. So I think we're going to take this population to at least 500. And we're going to fill in this whole area with houses. That's going to be my goal. Is to see how big of a city we can get and facilitate with all this food. So carrots, all that kind of jazz, we're going to need more of it. And at this point, what I think I'm going to do is see if I can eyeball this one. So these are some pretty crazy plot sizes. I think one more. I think these are appropriate. So I'm going to do one of each type and one more of the veggies. There we go. And yeah, let's get a little bit more food coming in. Yeah, with the sheep, with everything going, I don't think we're gonna be able to hit tier 3, but that's okay. We're still gonna be able to get the tavern going, and I think some of the houses will be able to get to tier 3. We do have 3 weavers going, and I do have the tailors going, so we'll see. Yeah, importing wool really isn't an option. I did start getting up a manor, so let's start taxing a little bit. 10%. Manors are still kind of broken in the game right now, but that's alright. I think, like I said, the main goal now is to get this out as big as possible. And just make sure we can feed everybody. I feel like we're really close to getting all of this going. Fallow over here. Ooh, these guys are off. That's okay. And let's get our retinue up. Get some money. Alright, let's get these guys going. We got a pretty big army. We've maxed out our spears now. So I had them making an enormous amount of spears. Still making crossbows. We're going to go back to making small shields now and selling them. Blacksmith's going to go back to producing iron parts for crossbows. Alright, we're getting close. In order to get this church up, we're also going to need just a few more things. Stone and, yes, a little bit of mortar. We're getting hit. Get 20 mortar. So we could import dress stone by purchasing it. At 17 pop. Okay. Now, I just want to test this because I'm lazy, and if I have a good enough economy, I can import rough stone at 14. So by paying 3 more per, basically not having to make it. And I like that. Let's boot that to 20 and just import it. And the banditos are already here. So let's get everybody out. This field here. Perfection. Okay. Maybe we fight right here, I think. Alright. Got 10. 3 crossbow units should make mincemeat out of any bandito. Get everybody lined up. I've actually found that shield wall isn't that good right now for some weird reason. We're just going to get them too thick. And we're going to put these guys in the back. Yep, there we go. Crossbowman already broke the first unit that came at us. Second rounder. Let's see what he does. You guys are going to get wrecked. Alright. Ew, yeah. They're already getting eaten up. See, a lot of them didn't make it. And this is pretty much the kill zone, it looks like. Yep. Yep, that's the kill zone. These guys are tough. Alright. Yeah, crossbows are just... nothing survives. That's just basically it. Go. Get these guys over here. Boom, boom, boom. Round 2. Alright, another one broken. Now this gen over here, taking his time. We're gonna speed this up. We're actually gonna, let's go to him. Just charge him. Here we go. There's no friendly fire, so you can easily engage with melee and have your archers come. There we go. Alright, everyone back to work. Yeah, the bandits aren't really a threat, and I wish they were. And now I have to buy pigs. Every single one of these. I think I went a little too overboard here. We do have 2,000. This pig meat, though, is actually going to supply pretty much every family with food. We're going to have, and this is good. This is probably why we should do eggs to, just get in their source of food. And there we go. We just spent an enormous amount of money on pigs. And then over here, we're going to get these guys into veggie plots. Get the road going down here. Still getting a lot of wool, but we're burning through the clothing as soon as we make it. So we need to get this church up quick. Alright, cool. Church is now upgrading. Perfect. And it's this alcohol production that's left. We do have a brewer. We do have a worker in the tavern. We should have a couple. They should be producing here shortly. I think we're going to get one of our first harvests. They're having a hard time hitting everything. I think we need more families. I'm going to add one more family to each of these. There we go. That should help out. We are starting to consume a great quantity of food. So yeah, we're going to do one of each. And then one more carrot for trade. And let's make sure that these guys are all tier 2 houses or double burgage plots. All their families. Yikes. We're clearing out the wilderness here. And I mentioned this before, I don't do the mines right now because in the beta version of everything, you only get like 2 or 4 per month. It's really bad. So we're waiting on the hot fix for that so that it's viable again. Okay. We're getting some of the worst yields I've ever seen. Yeah, there's still so much that's broken in the game right now. Sometimes you just have to wait for a year or so for it to catch up, and it does. Alright, we're gonna get some fences up on this side. Burgage is almost up. At that point, it's just booze and clothing. I'll start getting some more houses going. I think something weird is going on. Too steep. Okay. Yeah, if it's too steep, you gotta go a different direction. The only issue I'm seeing... I think they need to reconsider the changes they made to how plots work, because they used to be a lot cleaner. Yeah, and not everything's gonna have a backyard extension, unfortunately. Alright, we'll get these going. I'll have to figure out what to do here. Yeah, I don't think we have enough families for our all the farms we have going. They added the flax fields. We just need more. All right, hopefully we get some kind of harvest. That was pretty bad. We got people working on all the fields, so I feel like we do have enough folk. This is probably an issue. We should update this so that nobody's over here. Keep it uniform. Right, now I can get rid of it. Once they fully harvest this area, this is definitely going to hurt us. But it does look like we have enough. My only issue is we may not have enough ox. So let's start assigning more ox. Yeah, and unfortunately the high elevation is just destroying the sheep. Alright, we got plenty of oxen now. We're going to assign all of them. I'm also going to place a midpoint granary in the design. Wow, you can't build really anywhere here. Too steep. Okay, that's okay. I mean, there's not much I can do about that, right? Let's figure out where I can actually build houses here. I can build houses here. I can't build houses there unless I go sideways. Oh, still too steep. Right here. Only issue really is going to be wood. You can see I've pretty much destroyed everything. We're going to have to use some kind of rotation. I'm going to come over here, try to get this stuff. Not to pull all the families out of these. We're going to have to let this regrow. There's a lot of trees over here, that's good. Okay, alright, so we got the plows going. This is good. They are going the long way. There we go. I think those are some healthier numbers. We got 219 flax out of that. We are producing ale, but it looks like it's stuck. Nope, there we go. We got the demand. Okay. So, what's going to keep us from tier 3 now is just clothing. Oh, we got one that can go to tier 3 right here. So anyone that gets we're going to have randos. We need to make sure that we have enough for everybody. That's funny. We have 64 plots. That's not bad. We did get one tier 3 house. Just the way it's going to be. Let's get another... Yeah, another person there. And the granary we need an additional granary. So I think that this granary that I placed over here, I think we are going to have to, unfortunately, do market stalls on it. That's okay. We just have to. Because I'd prefer them to move the bread and all that there. Okay. Well, let's see what we got going on here. We're going to get 3 families into the wood. We are completely out. Let's go to the advanced tab, limited work area. Alright, there we go. This is looking good. There we go, look at that. Our tier 3. Tier 3 houses look so much nicer. But we just need to keep our eyes out and just produce as much clothing as possible. And we could probably get a good amount of tier 3 homes. We have the perfect amount of families now. I want 4 in each. This is a little bit more than I thought we were going to have, but we did increase the amount of fields by a lot. I think this will do it, but yeah, our yields are really, really bad. Kind of all over the place. Alright, we'll let them keep building up. I believe we're going to stop buying livestock for some time. Even though I know it's kind of a bad idea. We got 26 sheep and 33 lambs. We can have up to 1,132 in our pasture space because of the farming. We have 17 free oxen after accounting for everything that's being used in farming. Really good. And then this farmhouse over here, I'm gonna bite the bullet. We're gonna get 2 more carts going. We're just gonna do it. 2 more ox out there plowing is gonna help us. Fuel's at 7 months. So let's see. Let's get the woodcutters up to 3. We have lots of fire. Yeah. So okay, let's get charcoal kilns up to 3 instead. And I'm gonna boot the log and camp down to 2. There we go. Okay, we got 4 more families that can move in. More stuff coming up. Let's just keep upgrading everybody. That's going to cost a lot of wood, but it's okay. Surprised we got that one to tier 3. It makes me happy. At least I got one of them. But yeah, look at this city. It's really coming together. It's quite amazing. Wow. Yeah, it's a massive city already. I'm going to hold off on upgrading to tier 1. I'm really trying to get some more tier 3s. We don't have a whole lot of wood. We've pretty much used all of it. And it seems like the woodland is staying at 36%. What's kind of weird is the foresters aren't really doing a good job. I'm going to highly concentrate the area to right here. Take a gander. Yeah, everyone's doing a good job. Oh man, we have a lot of wool. That's amazing. A lot of linen. Good chunky yarn. Let's check out what we're doing over here. So the weavers are gonna do whatever they get their hands on. So we're just gonna straight up just switch one of the tailors to producing clothing from linen. And we're gonna hope, beyond hope, I can get a tier 3. That should get us a lot of clothing being produced, but it's being consumed pretty much as soon as it gets in there. Yeah, so we're getting the alcohol. That's good. Got 30%. Need a little bit more. Okay, now we're getting some good numbers. The bread, not so much. We do have enough bread that we can start selling it, though. Or to the trade post. Go to rye bread. Export anything over, I'm going to say 120. Buy that trade route. We may actually be able to even sell pork. Yeah, look how much pork we have. We're selling pork. 4. Yeah, we'll sell over anything over 100 pork because we're bringing in it every month. That's another great trade. That's more trade than we know what to do with. That should bring in a lot of wealth right there. Yeah, we got a lot of full pantries over here. So we need to make sure we have enough granary workers for everybody. I think we're going to place another granary just to help move some of the stuff over here. Yeah, it would be great when they fix the clothing. That would be really nice. Alright, so you can see they're out here. They're out here seeding, so I don't think they have enough people for harvest. They left all this stuff out here. Oh, it's not even harvest season. Why are they seeding? This is so weird. There's like something really weird going on here. I can only presume they just don't have enough workers, so we're just gonna keep it going. Just keep adding until things start making sense. May have to go back to wheat. The yields on rye just really suck, but the barley's looking good. And yeah, and the flax isn't looking too bad. We still have a lot of wool and a lot of linen. They just, honestly, at this point, they can't even keep up with it. Is it? I can't tell if it's like glitched. I can't tell what's going on anymore. Sometimes they do get glitched out. And sometimes they don't. I'm just going to reload real quick and see if that fixes it. That is just an ungodly amount of pigs. I think we're actually going to make quite the money from selling all that. That's going to be really good for us. Now the big hubbub over here, though, is figuring out how do we get more houses, especially with this elevation. It's really difficult. Looks like we can actually place the houses here. We just need a bunch of wood. And we're getting close to not having a lot of resources for that. Go check out our lumber logging camp. Let's get 3 families over here. And let's speed this up. It's going to be pretty difficult for us to keep up with production. We're going through the wood really quickly. Surprisingly, we do have a lot of wool, yarn, and linen. And it seems like they just can't keep up with the production. But we have 2 tailors converting yarn into clothing. We have 1 turning the linen into clothing. And our yield is decent, 26, like I was saying, about 1 per 30. Seems to be right. So yeah, we're clearing through it so quick. And booze and clothing seem to be the 2 main things. Now the brewer is only going to hit 50 burgages. So we may even need to get a second brewer because we have 70 plots. We have more than enough to hit 100% food variety. I'm trying to figure out what I can do here. It just is, you know, until they hotfix it, some things are just a little impractical. 252 pork, 122 rye bread. Alright, look at that. We are trading quite a bit. Alright, so it says we have only 120 rye. There we go. That's about right. Still have 319 pork. Let's come and figure out what's going on. We bought a route. We should be selling a lot more pork. We're selling the shields. We are selling planks. I'm going to stop selling planks because we're using them to produce quite a bit. And our wood situation is really bad right now. No more trading of the planks. Everything else, though, I think is fair game. About a year's worth of food, 6 months in fuel. Just need more wood. And I'm clear cutting. So let's see. I think we're going to need more people, but we don't have any more families that can come in. So we have to build some houses. Get more families to get more wood. Yeah, I don't think we're ever, at this consumption, I don't think we're ever going to get enough clothing for everybody. It feels like the rye's just getting worse. We might just have to go to... It's just so bad. They gotta fix those yield issues. That's alright. At least we're getting all the other things that we need. So if you look at this, it's only actually a small part of this that we cannot build in. Let's see if we can do this. We can get houses here. Not in this area there, that's fine. This was kind of like a Goldilocks zone that we found. This area is kind of difficult to build in. I'm gonna try something kind of crazy here. Since we can't use this for anything cool, what if I just put a stupid farm here? And we start cooking a full thing of rye. And then flax. I know it's gonna throw things off, but whatever. I want to fill this in. But yeah, let's try to... He's gonna have a hard time at this spot. That's gonna take him forever to finish. I wish you could have multiple ox on one plot. That would solve the problem. Most likely what we'd need to do is turn it into strips. It's kind of... just kind of tedious doing that all the time. The 0.3 Morgan. Yeah, so anything I can't use for housing, we'll just turn it into farmland. Alright, we got more houses over here. Boom. We actually don't need to even utilize the farmland here. Like, literally, you can just use it as an aesthetic. Alright, let's get a few more individuals helping out down here. Yeah, I think that there is potentially an issue of workers as well. So we do need just more hands on deck. We're just gonna get a bunch of individuals and just convert them into farmers. Man, that would have been perfect, but yeah, it's too steep. We're gonna for sure need another farmhouse out here to help with some of this stuff. Looks like we finally found one place I can put houses, which is right here. Alright, perfect. So this is all going to be houses. And then this inner area here, where I can't really put any houses because it's too steep. More farmland. We're going to do quasi strips here, though. 0.6 Morgan strip there, and probably a 1 Morgan strip right here. We'll do rye and flax. I'm going to get more farmhouses. Heck, we can even do this little strip over here. Get it all. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool, actually. One other thing I actually do need is it's a granary for getting eggs and pretty much just helping with everything else. So we can set that guy right up over here. There we go, that's perfect. We're gonna get up some more houses back here. And we'll get a nice little road. I'll just continue to add housing to these outskirt areas. Yeah, perfect. I think we'll actually set up a granary here as well. Keep this a little more uniform. Have a few little drop-off points. Workers. And right here, need the goods. I mean, we got it made. This is kind of cool. I actually kind of like the farmland separation. Did the best we could. And since we do have the funds, I think we should build a castle. Now, currently it is a little glitchy, and you have to do it all in one go. We're just going to build ourselves a very standard castle. Okay, we're going to upgrade it. Put the railing on. Gonna add an outer tower. Now make sure you upgrade the outer tower or it will glitch out. They have a way up onto the walls. Yeah, it's just going to be a very, very simple tower. And we should definitely... Ooh, we did not want to do that. It doesn't like to... It does not like to do corners sometimes. Okay, there we go. We're going to just do it like this. It's going to be simple. It's going to be expensive. We need 25 mortar, 164 stones. So we're going to go up to our trade post now. It's the 30. And boot this up to like 180 for now. And eventually we'll have everything we need. Let the time roll on that. When I have all the resources, I'll purchase it. Now, I could have made it myself. I could have done all types of stuff. I'm just going to keep it simple. Upgrade for ox plowing. Speed this up. But we have a huge army. 4 crossbowmen. Bolting a spear. We're doing great. So we do actually have enough. We just need more spear shields to get a spear unit up. Let's get 2 spear units. Oh, here we go. Look at all the tier 3s that we have access to now. Let's see what we can do, because we did get clothing. This guy over here. It's going to be like kind of random which ones we can get to tier 3, because I think the clothing distribution is a little random. That was down here can go to tier 3. So I'll get as many tier 3s as I possibly can. All of the tailors and all these gents over here, they can go to tier 3 as well. Get one of them. I'm going to hold off on upgrading from tier 1 to tier 2. Simply because wood is becoming an issue. Let's also get up another well down here. Good. Okay, we have more families now. I'm going to get them in the farms down here. Just to get more ox going. Let's find livestock. Alright. So we have a granary here that will not do market stalls. We're going to upgrade it, put 1 person in there. And we're going to do chickens here in a moment. We're kind of broke. Alright, we got some chicken money. So let's buy a bunch of chickens. That will also provide chicken meat sometimes. On top of the eggs. Oh yeah, we're raking in the cash now. Bunch of chickens there. Okay. And I mean, we're doing phenomenal. We got some tier 3s in the mix. Oh, we're gonna get a tier 3 bowmaker for sure. Not because I need to. Joiner shop though, we're gonna go back to small shields. I think we got all of our guys. Yep, let's do it tier 3. Anything I can do to tier 3, I'm going to. Alright, look at all them chickens. Beautiful. Okay, so we have a bunch of families. I'm going to start just filling out the farmhouses up here. Putting a couple families into each. Let's just make sure we have just a stupid amount. I am going to... Okay, we have 1 granary there. We got this granary right here. We're going to... Oh, we can't max that out yet. Hold on a second. Pull back a little. Do need some families to help build things. We're going to go to tier 3 on all of our artisan buildings, even though it's silly. There's a lot more people that can move in. I just realized we got to turn the market off on this. I want to let these guys just do whatever they want. Family, upgrade. It's got to turn the market stall on. Got to turn it off. There we go. Yeah, we're we're clearing through the woods so quickly. It's kind of scary. Back here, we're doing slightly okay. Like, I don't think we're going to run out of firewood, but could actually happen. We have 15 timber. Okay, we're getting a hit. Your normal amount of raiders, just like set of 4. Realistically, this is of no match for what we have. We're going to rip through them pretty quick. Get everybody assembled. Yeah, the countryside's looking nice. I'm also feeling like I need to get a farm over here because it's just feeling really weird. Alright, here they come. They have their pitch. You know, looks like they're going to try to burn some stuff down, but I don't think they will. I think they'll engage our people. Alright, here they come. While we wait, let's see, what does this look like? So, yeah, I know that we could fill in this area right here. We're just gonna do this. Make sure that doesn't align with anything. Yep, we're good. So we can put ourselves a nice little farm in that area. We'll tie out a little bit better. Right, here they come. And we're gonna chew them up. Yes, sir. Oh boy. Yeah, they never really stand a chance. It's not much of a fight. Here they go. All right, simple. Honestly, We could even put houses here too. May or may not look better. Actually, I think that houses would look better here. I like to kind of like mix it up, right? And then we can do a farm plot right here. Back. Just mix it up. We'll put barley and flax here. At this point, I don't even care what they do. And we have a lot of families that need to move in. Oh, here we go. Another tier 3. Just missed it. Just missed it. Sometimes the best way to smooth out these roads is just to double down on them. Kind of thicken them out. Alright, let's get some chickens in here. Ooh, our food is actually kind of crazy right now. 684 carrots. So hopefully we start selling more carrots here soon. Should be selling quite a bit of them. They're a little slow. Carrots. Or not carrots, sorry, chickens. Oh boy, my brain is going. Chickens. And more chickens. There we go. I like that. That's kind of cool with the farm plot in the back and then the chickens right there. It's looking good. We'll get a few of these guys to tier 2 just to give them some differentiation. Kind of nice sometimes to just like randomly upgrade houses. Makes it look a little bit more of a variety thing going on. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how cool that is, man. It is so awesome. Oh man. This is probably one of the cooler cities I've made, except for all the sheep dying thing. Pretty much everything here is a scenic screenshot. We got ourselves pig paradise down here. Come over into the farmland. And then you got yourself the cool little chicken area. But yeah, we've definitely exceeded food. You can see 57 milk. So let's take a peek at the tier 3 requirements. So you can see we need clothing and shoes, but we're easily hitting all of the fruits. And so once you get to tier 3, splits it into forage goods and vegetables. Easy to do. Grains. So you have to have bread. You literally have to have bread in order to hit 100% approval from food market. We're getting plus 12% market food variety, right? You have to have bread if you want to hit that. I mean, there is no tier 4, so currently, technically, you could get away with it. Meats and fishes, so you have to have some kind of meat. So that's your pigs. Animal produce and fruits. Fruits can easily do that, but you can also use eggs. And then church access and ale, and then boots and clothing, fuel, of course, and water. So we're hitting everything. It's just clothing is busted right now. Soon it won't be. But yeah, it's good to know. It's good. I really like the new system. I think it adds a lot of flavor because now you have a reason for doing things. You have a reason for having pigs. You have a reason for everything. Speed this up. We actually were able to get quite a bit of sheep. You can see we have 407 wool, 196 yarn. So my rule of thumb was 1 per 30 family. Or yeah, 1 per 30 families. So we actually need another weaver, another tailor. And we also need to increase the workers. Like I said, you get a small percent gain, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. It's possible. So let's boot this up and see if we can get more rolling. So we actually have, it doesn't look like we have a whole lot of flax and everything, but we actually have a lot of wool. And I have quite a bit of people doing, I have one tailor dedicated to linen, and that's probably for the best. And once this is built, we'll put this to wool clothing as well. Alright, so we're making clothing there. We have a tier 3. Yeah, we have one tier 3 tailor as well, which is the one selected to linen. So I'm gonna turn that one into a wool, and I'm gonna turn this one to a linen. I want the big one working on the wool because we have so much yarn. We got 4 families now pumping out clothing, so that might actually work. We have 331 barley. So what is the issue here? Because from my perspective, We should have more alcohol than we know what to do with. And we don't. Let's put 2 people in the malt house and see if that helps. The brewer's doing really decent. Take a peek, right? Always take a peek. We got a ton of barley. Got a little bit of ale. They are going to let us do ciders, so that's cool. Cider should really help. I mean, if I can take apples and I can make a cider out of that, that'd be great. I have 1,000 freaking carrots, so they're not selling the carrots quick enough. They're doing their best. I do think they are. We just need to get that malt house going. The tavern's starting to pick up. I feel like we're producing more than enough alcohol. Like, productivity 37% because they're waiting on the malt house. And the productivity here, yield is modest. 20 in 30 days. You can see their labor is pretty decent. Efficiency is decent. So we'll see. It's possible what I need to do is get this granary up to 6 and just really boot it up. Yeah, that should help out a lot, actually. Get some more people, more boots on the ground. You see we have tons of ox. We have tons of sheep. We are currently sitting at 50 sheep, 55 lambs, 105 chickens. Wow, that's a lot of chickens. 60 pigs. No goats, because they're not even going to bother with boots for the time being. Until they fix it, but... yeah, our flocks are doing alright, even with them dying off. I mean, I'm not purchasing any more. So, they are surviving. We have a granary over here. I'll place 1 person in here. Boot that up. I'm just going to get, you know, as many people moving around as possible. Now, let's get 1 more worker in the storehouse. And let's see where we're at with purchasing materials. Oh, wow, we got all the materials. So, we're going to commit. And I am going to save. In case this all breaks. So, 2 big projects. 2 big projects. I don't think I'm going to do houses here anymore. Simply because I feel like we have more than enough. I think we're just going to do farmland here. I want to tie the build up. I want to get the castle up. I want to look cool. We're just going to do barley and flax. Alright, there we go. Yeah, that looks nice. You got, you know, you got your housing, you got your farmers. And how many families do we have moving in? 8. So we have no builders. We need a lot of builders. All right. I'm going to let the families just kind of naturally roam in. We technically don't need too much more wood at this rate. Well, we need a lot of wood, but the problem is they're just... we need to let it regrow. You can see we're burning through our wood reserves quick. I'm going to go down to 2 families here. And we're just going to let them collect. Not everything needs to be tier 2. Oh, here we go. We got another tier 3 over here. Very good. The clothing is starting to work. And there you go. We're at 82%. So the booze is starting to flow in now. I guess just putting the 2nd family really did it for us. Okay, we're in a good spot now. There's just so much to build out. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. This is a pretty big, little big area. There's some tweaks they need to do, though. They really nerfed the farming. I think there's also a disadvantage to high elevation when farming, too. I'm not sure about that one, but I think I read something about that. Hard to know what's in the game versus, like, what is planned to be in the game sometimes. And we could go in the butchers and start getting rid of livestock, but that would give us hides for boots as well. So sheep are probably going to be the way, like, outside of goats, I think sheep will probably be one of the most important things you can do. Going to be very powerful. And we still have 336. Yeah, we can't even keep up. I cannot even keep up with the yarn and everything. And yeah, we're making clothing now. So we actually should see... we actually could potentially achieve a lot of tier 3s. Alright, we're doing it. Good chunk of change. Paying our bills. 138 eggs. Oh boy. Yeah, this is looking good. Alright, we have 6 families that are helping build this thing up. This is looking good. This whole city is pretty freaking amazing. feel like the Lord is going to come to attack me soon. Got a couple of gents that are stuck on a rock, though. Oh yeah, look at him go. Proceeding like crazy. And we're getting this guy built out over here. Already at work. Yeah, the tier 3s are some of my favorites. We got our market stall area looking pretty good over here. Still got lots of free room. Hitting 100% demands on food variety. Like I said, until we can get... Oh, look at that. We're actually getting a surplus of clothing. So it's clothing and beverage. Alright. Yeah, we're getting close. We'll kind of end up... What happens is essentially like maybe half the year you have full alcohol production for the whole settlement. You have to kind of wait. Oh, this guy, we didn't put anything. Barley. Flex. Alright, 57% completion on our mighty castle. Oh, dude, that is a cool angle. Probably my favorite angle right here. Yeah, a little bit of loss right there. A little bit of loss. 2.3 thousand food. Just a lot of pork. We're eating the chicken pretty quick. Apples. We're going through the pears and the quincies real quick too. Rye bread. I feel like we can't sell things fast enough. We're doing all right, but I feel like the trade post just can't keep up. It's probably because I have two... the imports I'm not worried about. Exports we need to check out. So let's stop. Let's stop at the berries. Let's have them super focus on just the few things. Charcoal. We're not going to export any more of that. You can see we're actually getting low on fuel. Woodcutter's Lodge, let's get 3 families, 3 and 3. Should help out a little bit. This is gonna become quite the problem. Wood is a little bit harder, I think, than it used to be. 62% on that castle. Get a couple more Burgage plot level 2s. To fill in, make the village feel a little bit better. Looks like we actually need water access. That's interesting. More wells. Well, we could just upgrade this well. Give us massive amounts. And this one's already stone over here. Gonna do another well right back here. Yeah, you can tell a huge difference between the tier 2 and the tier 1s. It looks so much nicer. Side by side, better roofs, better everything. Oh, here we go, another tier 3 tailor. We'll do it. Anytime I can get a tier 3, I'm just gonna take it. Only 21 and 30 days on tier 3. Wondering if they suck. We can always check out another. Yeah, 20. Yeah, there's something weird going on. I was getting 30 before, and this is a really optimal design. We got right next to storage and everything right here, right next to the weavers. You can see we still have 401, 404 yarn. We literally just need more tailor shops. But we do have 59 ale finally. So interestingly enough, it is actually not too hard to produce what you need. It's really the tailors that have a hard time keeping up with it. I'm going to switch from linen to clothing, and we'll just let the linen accumulate, and like we'll get a couple hundred of it, and then we'll switch back. That should help out a little bit. We have 16 months of food. We do not have enough firewood. We're going to get up another... So this is the real problem when you go to... Oof. We have 99 occupied. Burgage... Yeah, that's crazy. This is the real problem, though, is the fueling all this. This is why I don't like singles, but we are making more passive wealth if they're tier 2. So that is one thing. If you're not going to upgrade to tier 2, probably double Burgage plots is a little smarter. Let's put a woodcutter lodge right here. Boot this up. But we need a little bit more wood. Oh, look at that. Some of the trees are finally coming back. Wow, look at that. We replanted and a ton came back. So the forester down here is doing its job. Okay. We're going to place 2 people in here. We got to get back to work. I'm going to have them cut down anything over here. That should help us out. But oof. Yeah, we really ramped up our costs. Alright. So here we go. The castle is ready. Let's check it out. Oh, it looks like we're about to get attacked too. So that's it's good timing. Very good timing. Hold up. I want to see if we can actually get up top and defend from the castle. Would be ideal. Just showing it off. Get our guys in here to defend it. Oh yeah. Check that out. They're doing it. They're doing it. Look at them go. Yeah, it's looking sharp. I'll let them all gather inside. A little bit of a roadblock there, not bad. Alright, let's start the war. I'm hoping that the circle... So the circle, unfortunately, is all the way down here. What you do in this situation is you send one unit. You get their attention, and then you run that unit back. We'll send them down there to start the combat, and then we'll lead them. Okay. So there are some issues where certain units get stuck. And sometimes just getting rid of them and then sending them back helps. I don't think we're going to be able to get to the war zone in time. We're actually just going to have to fight right here. Those guys are stuck. I think what I'll do is I'll run these gents down here. Start the combat. Otherwise, we'll have to fight 2 waves. Let's get this going. You can see we are shooting from our awesome little ledge right here. That's awesome. That's pretty good. So that's pretty cool. See, this is a much harder thing to attack. We're not killing them very quickly though, but we're starting to pepper them. Oh yeah, now we're starting to get them. Yeah, this is cool. This is actually the first time I've gotten the castles to work right. We're just going to leave the gate open. I want them to come in. I'm going to do a shield wall. Try to hold them. I know they're going to try to punch through. We're going to run down there, start the combat. Here they come to the gates, but we have crossbowmen who can shoot down into here. Oh yeah, they can still shoot through walls, which is kind of funny, but this is a pretty... I really need to get down here and start the war. Okay, they're running. We're breaking them. Interestingly enough, there are some issues. I think there's some clipping issues going on still. But for the most part, we are holding the line. Oh, there goes the other jet. Alright, come on, let's start this battle. I think we might have to fight off another wave. Here we go, broke. Here comes the next gents. Oh yeah, they're getting all kinds of stuck on things. Okay, we are in the right place. Gonna charge out and destroy this last unit. Go. Okay. Well, that was pretty crazy. Gonna maintain our gents. I'm gonna leave my guy over here to win that battle. We're just gonna hold the line. Oh yeah, they're getting a little trippy over here. They're having some problems, but or they're jamming out. I mean, could be listening to some good music. I don't know. Kind of weird. Okay, so while all of this accumulates, let's take one last look because we finished. We have finished the whole build, looking really good. I'm pretty excited. Awesome. I think we did a fantastic job. Everything is exactly how I would want it. This is a pretty neat build. Now, also, what does it look like from the ground floor when you come down here? Looking pretty nice, but I want to get the scenic view. Okay, there you go. You can see the fields over there. You can see over here all the farming going on. Yeah, this is looking cool, except for that floating door right there. That's a little... Some stuff is a little out of place. Yeah, there's a few things that are a little out of place, but there are bugs. You know, it is a game. But this is what it looks like. This is the final result. We got our little castle over here. This is pretty cool. I'm really digging the changes that are coming to Manor Lords. To be honest, I feel like this is a good place to leave everything. Battle is pretty much won. If they send more at us, they do. Things are, you know, great. So thank you guys for watching. Special shout out to my patrons and my members. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Subscribe if you want to see more Let's Plays on a lot of different games. I do more than just Manor Lords, but this is what we got going on here. And it is looking really good.